Hello to myself and everybody else. This is video 83. So far today, I'm still looking at a bunch of stuff I'm learning from the free code camp 31-hour long video on C++ programming. And so far today, I'm just looking at some stuff I learned about arrays and everything like that. And basically, the main thing I learned about arrays is that, again, good way to like store list of information. Something that, again, I probably should have learned in school, but really never got taught what an array was. They just told us to use it. So very glad I learned what one is. But so far with this, going to put the using namespace. So I have to keep typing std before every like cout or end l. But yeah, so far just first off, just started making an array. So just call it int test. And then we just say this has like 3 spaces in it. So far, that's the array right there. So just basically just say array. And then going to set the information in it. So far, what I just normally do is just do this. Just hold down control and just click in each space so we can just type in multiple lines. That I just learned from working with Game Maker. And from this, just have it be 0, 1, and 2. Basically, this how many spaces we have. We have 3 spaces in this array. And with it starting at 0, it'll be 0, 1, and 2. So that's all 3 spaces. And then we'll just put like random numbers in here. So like, say 42, 64, and 2. Why not? Then we're going to use a for statement to just print this information out. So just say int I equals 0, I less than, so far since there's only 3 spaces, it should only print out 3, so we have that, and then plus I, and from here we'll have it print out what's in the array, so we'll say, say test I, so basically it'll print out like what array we're on based on like what line it's on from the array, and close it off. Then we'll have it print out the information in the array by saying test I and end L. So basically this just like types out the array, what array we're on, or what space we're on in the array, and then the information that's in that array. So just go ahead and look at it. Yep, so array space 1, 42, like up here, 64, and 2. Same with the array number, 0, 1, and 2. That's the main way it works there too, just printing like a basic array. So far, something to probably point out is that like if we have more, like we do this test, say 3 equals, and let's say 8, 8, 8. So far, since we don't have 3 spaces, and these are the 3 here, if we have an extra one that's not accounted for, and tell it to print the extra 4. Well, actually, no, we don't. Well, yeah, we do. Yeah. So far, we tell it to print this extra space and everything stuff right here. You just see what happens real quick. So yeah, it just prints out the arrays like normal, and then space 3 just has a 3 because it has no idea what to put, even though we have 8, 8, 8. So basically, if we had to like try to adjust this, we have to make this 4. Now run it. And now it's printing out the correct number. So basically, just something the video taught me was a good way, basically, if you're printing arrays, to make sure if you have to like change the array space. So let's say we need to add like more numbers or something, we should probably do this. So just say int, and we'll just call this size. And we'll just say it equals, not 0, sorry. Say it equals like 4. This is the array size. So from here, we'll just type in size. Same thing here. So this just the array size and everything like that. So just run it, make sure it still works. Prints out the same numbers and everything. So if we need to add like a 5th one, we could just do this. and then just say test number 4 equals this. Now we run it. There we go, it's right there. So we wouldn't have to change the number in the array here and then the one here to make sure everything's good. We can just manually change it and stuff like that too. So this is a good practice just to do that the video taught me. So there's that. Yeah, the next thing it showed me was how to put like numbers in an array using a for loop. So basically if I just erase these real quick, we'll still say the size is 5 and everything here. So we'll just make another for loop. Let me first label this. So print out array. So we just tell the difference. Then we'll make another for loop. Same thing, int I equals 0. And we'll just say size plus I. And then from here, we'll basically just say something like, okay, so say test I equal, and then just say like I times, let's say 3, just why not? So basically with this, it would just take the array, whichever one we're on. So start with 0 and go all the way up to size, which is 5, or technically 4, but still. And then it'll just take whatever I is, whichever one we're on, multiply by 3, and then print the output and everything and stuff right here. So let's go and look at that. Yeah, so again, so 0 times 3 will be 0. 3 times 1, 3. 3 times 2, 6. Just basically doing things like that. So just a way to like print out and put information in an array just using like a for loop. So that was another thing it taught me. And with this, I was experimenting with this and also learned something you can do as well with this. You can also use this as a way to like put in information into an array as well. So basically if I did something like here, if I type this in, let me just, well, I'll keep this great. All right. So maybe I do something like cout, type a number. We'll just end it there because we don't want to loop or we don't want space. Here, put in a variable, so we'll call it, say, int input equals 0. Say cin to get user input. So whatever they type in here will become the variable input. And then whatever test we on, that will become input. And basically with this, it should make it so by default with the size, this will run 5 times. We type in 5 different numbers, and then it should print out in that array. So we can just see real quick with this. So type a number, so we'll say just random numbers here. And you can see it types them out and everything right here. Where again, let me make this bigger. So again, we typed in random numbers 33, 54, 23, 1, and 5, and it printed them out here in the array space. That's something I ended up figuring out while just working with this, just to see how to, get numbers in an array. Just the main thing is doing this, you have to like make sure you list out what your array is and keep track of that. But from there, that's mostly it for this one. So far, the other thing I saw as well in the video is basically a different way to like list out information in an array. So far, this is the manual way to put in. We'll just erase this real quick. So basically just have print the array size and everything. Another thing you can do with this as well. So let's say instead of having the array size here and everything, so I have to kind of change some stuff. So I'll be right back. Okay, so far I just changed it so have a basic array and everything set up here. 3 spaces, 3 numbers put in, and it should print 3 things out. Basically, instead of having an array set up like this, where you have to like set a bunch of variables like this, you can instead do it also like this. Just put brackets here, and then you type in the numbers as well. So 12, 13, 14. Even though I just changed the numbers here, still You can type this in so you don't have to do this. So from here, it should print out the numbers in the array and everything here. So let's just test and make sure. Yep, so type in 12, 13, and 14 right here. You can also do it like this as well too, if you want to. Just put an equal sign. If you just are used to doing that, you can do this as well. The exact same thing. Or if you want to, there's another way too. You don't have to specifically list the size of the array here. It will automatically just look at this and go, okay, there's 3 things in here. So then you just have to worry about just the like for loop part right here. So I'll just print and see. Again, did it as well. So let's just add another number here real quick. So comma 15. And we have to up this to 4. Run it. There it is. Just added it by default, which had to up the for loop. And so far, there is a way with this right here to kind of like, so you don't have to keep messing around with this. So you have to keep track of how many things are in the array and everything. You basically can do this. So we'll just empty this out. And again, this is the thing I learned from the video. So I just basically use exactly what the video had. Put auto, and then you can just say value or whatever variable you want. A colon, and then from there you put in the name of the array. So this will be test. I'll just put a space there, why not? I don't think it really matters, but you can. And with this and everything too, it should print out. Let me go ahead and get rid of this. So far, doing it this way, you will have to have something manually count what array it's on. So far, let me go ahead and just do that now real quick. So basically I have to just do this. So just say int number equal 0. Here we'll just say number plus plus. Can't remember if it's number plus plus or plus plus number. We'll test and see, but you just need something manual here to count how many times going through the array. And then here, instead of putting this, you put in value because it's printing out the value of what's in the array. So we can just run it real quick and see. There we go. See right there, 0, 1, 2, 3. Because there's 0, 1, 2, 3 things in the array. That's what the number's there for. And basically each time it runs, it just goes up 1. And basically, again, the value is what's in the array. This is basically a good way so you can just print out what is manually in the array. So you don't have to worry about constantly being like, okay, information was added. How many things is that? Do I need to set up another variable to like keep track of it? So I can do this. I can just comma and just say 16. Then we just run it again. And it added the extra one, 16. So far, again, that's a pretty good way to just make sure you don't have to keep manually trying to keep track of like how many times should this run. It will just automatically do it based on how much is in the array. So that's another way to put information in as well. Just something I learned. Yeah, so far another thing and stuff too that I learned from the video as well is there is something it does in the array. Like, so let's do this. Let's say there's only 2 numbers here. So that should be 0 and 1. So again, we set it to 2. Well, no, set it to 3. So we have 3 spaces, but only 2 numbers in here. What will end up going down is this. So I'm going to just go ahead and instead of having this print auto. Actually, I'm kind of curious to see what happens real quick. I just want to run this to see real quick. Yeah, so basically with this, it will end up just printing it as a 0. Let me just do this as well to make sure. So we'll say 4. Yeah, so that's what it is. Test it one more time. Make sure, let's put it to 10. Why not? Yep, so basically what's going on is if you don't use up all the space in the array, it will just default set it to 0. So that's a very interesting thing you can do with this. But there is kind of a difference to it that kind of messes it up. Like, okay. So basically, again, I'm defining what's the array. This is automatically detecting the array and printing it out and everything as well. But basically, if I don't put this in here, like I don't specify the array and stuff here, and I run it, it will only print those two. Actually, wait, I have to change this if I want to show it off. Give me a second. So say int. So I'm going to run this again. Whoop, wait a minute. That's right. Change this to I. Yeah, so it ends up kind of doing. I'm sorry, I'm totally messing up. Give me a second. And with this, we can actually just make it I. We don't have to use the number thing anymore, so I can just get rid of this. Okay, so yeah, here's what's going on. I was messing up for a bit, but okay. So basically what's going on is this. If you do it like this with the I, basically if you have empty space, but you don't specify specifically in this part right here how much space there is, it will just print like random values. So again, we only have two values, 12 and 13. The rest of the space, which I just have marked to 10, it will just put in random numbers. So if I mark it like right here, if I put 10 in the space and then run it, here we go. So if I specify how much space is in the array, now it will go and just default them to 0. So basically, if you're doing it like this, you have to specify how much space is in here, unless you do it the, automatic value and the name of the array way we were doing earlier. So basically, if you're doing it the other way, then it will by default either just only print out what you have, but if you want it to print out zeros instead, you have to manually say how much size there is. So with that, you will have to basically use, something to keep track of like the size of the array to keep it like more neat and more easy to be able to like change all of that as well. So just run it again to make sure after I change this. Now we just run it again. There we go. So just something like that. So you can just change what it is. So with this, we'll just say it's 3 this time. Run it. It can mess up sometimes. Let's just stop and run it again. There we go. Yeah, so now it's like doing it correctly and everything. It just, again, if you do it like this, you do have to manually put what the size of the array is. If you're going to have the for loop like this, if you're going to use the automatic, so it just manually detects how much is in there, then you don't really need to worry about specifying the size of the array. So that's just something to really keep an eye out for. That, again, I learned from the video. It was like really useful to just know. So for another thing, it's just modifying already set arrays. So basically, if I just do something like this, so let's say test, and I'll just go ahead and just fill it out real quick here. So basically, let's say this first number right here, 0 is 12. So let's just make it so 0, instead of being 12, it's 56. Let's just say that. So from there, we'll go and just use the exact same for loop. So I don't have to type it out again, But yeah, let me also have a thing to specify which is which. So see out second list, and for this one, just put first list. Okay, so just run it. Oh, I forgot the semicolon. Wait. There we go. Just run it now. Yeah, so the whole thing stuff of this. The first list, 12, 13, 0. The second list is 56, 13, 0. So that's a way to just change a array if you already have something set. So that's something, again, that also can be really useful as well. Just, again, something random I learned from the video. So far, the last thing is just like summing up the numbers in an array. So basically, we can just do like make the array. So we'll just again call it test, and we'll just make it the way like this. So we'll just say 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or my spacing's kind of off with this. Give me a second. Yeah, my spacing was weird. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and let's say 10. So from here, and then we also have int sum. So that equals 0. From here, we can basically just do a for loop. Do the automatic thing. So auto value and then test. And then from here, we can just do sum plus equal value. And then we just have it print out the value. So just say some array is. So basically what I did was made an array, put a bunch of numbers in there, made a value, made a variable called sum. And then from there, basically the numbers in here, like the for loop we got here, should automatically detect how many numbers are in here, print them out. Basically what it's doing is it'll take every number from the array, put that value into sum, go to the next number, then add it to what's already in sum, and just keep doing it all the way through the list. So from there, it should print out the grand total of this array. So let's go ahead and see. Wait, I got an error real quick. Hold on, let me look at this. Okay, I was missing a semicolon here. There we go. So yeah, that's the whole thing with that too. Since the array is 54, in which basically just adds all these numbers up as well. If you want to just make sure and just keep it nice and simple, let's just get rid of all these numbers and just make it like 2 and 3, so it should be 5. Yep, array is 5. So far with that, just base the whole thing there, just having the add up like what's in the array. So far again, that was like the whole thing I just learned from this like free code camp video. I'm still not like fully done with it. I'm only like 9 hours in. But so far again, I learned like a decent amount of stuff, a lot of stuff, and it just feels really good to actually be able to learn how to program. Going to school for 8 years, haven't learned a single thing, so this just taught me a whole bunch of stuff. So yeah, I'll keep working with that and everything too. Just basically made this just a review for myself, what I learned, to make sure I got it down. And so far, I'll just keep watching stuff, keep working on things. But yeah, so far to myself and everybody else, see you in the next one.